We were able to find an honest connect, our relationship that was blossoming, and using that in the film.
Not every co-actor that you work with, you don't feel that necessarily feel that way. Even though it might come across so on screen, you don't actually feel that comfort inside. So it's a great thing.
What if I don't pull it off in this film? It'll be the end of my career.
And I can't wait to do another film with him just because of the rapport that we share.
Today I'm speaking with actors Arjun Kapoor and Sutaria about their next film, Ek Villain Returns. Hi, welcome to the Quint and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
How exhausted are you guys? I know you all have been on your feet since morning 9.
Is it that evident?
Is it?
No, we only started our day at 8:30. No, actually, I woke up at 7. I'm sure you must have woken up.
I woke up a little earlier, yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking to you at 8:45. So it's been a regular day. But yeah.
Arjun, you were also offered the first Ek Villain back then, but you were shooting for Tevar, if I'm not mistaken.
Things didn't align logistically for dates, and the fact that there was an overload of work in my life already at that point in time. But the intent was to do it. I couldn't. It wasn't like I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. So I read in an interview that you said that you were destined to play this role.
When I said that, it's more in context that I did want to work with Mohit, and I couldn't when I said no to Villain unwantingly, but I did it with the purest of hearts. I would love to watch all sorts of his films, but as an actor, this was the space that I wanted to explore with him.
The first film is already so popular and successful. Does the fact that this is a sequel and you're going to does it worry you?
I think obviously there'll always be comparisons to the first part. That I've done a few sequels before, so I understand the perspective with which audiences watch sequels. But I do feel like all of us are very confident with what we're bringing to the table with this film. It's not just a sequel. I wouldn't just call it that. It's an extension of this sort of world that Mohit has so brilliantly created in the first part itself.
I think it helps that Mohit is directed the first one. He's directing the one, so it's his world, like she said, Kat. That really makes a big difference.
In the trailer, apart from the music, what's already standing out and people are talking about is your chemistry. What do you think is working for you all? Did you all have, were you all friends before you all started shooting? What worked?
I think maybe the fact that we weren't.
Yeah, we hardly really knew each other before, no? We met when we were shooting Shamat, which is a song that's in the film. And
2 days before we started shooting, we met in Goa.
In Goa, we were filming this in Goa. It was the first few days of shoot. And because of COVID, we didn't get a chance to do readings and narrations, which usually are a very natural process of filmmaking.
Also, I didn't know too much about her.
Same, we literally just didn't know anything
So there was
about
no preconceived notion. So we came in with a clean slate and we were able to find an honest connect. Which sort of Mohit saw during dinner the first night, and he looked at me and he said, this is exactly what you should just do. So inherently, we were able to just find an extension of our relationship that was blossoming and using that in the film. I give her credit. I found a rhythm with her, and then we had to stop shooting, and we did keep in touch, and we became friends, and the whole shebang that follows when you're friends is that you do joke around, fool around, all that.
We just clicked. I think we just always clicked.
And the banter and the fooling around that we have off did not make a difference.
We're just really similar as well. We're very similar, so we understand the scene similarly. We want the same thing out of the scene. We don't need to talk about it. It's just an understanding.
Like there is a scene me and she have done where she's cleaning a wound on my mouth and she's helping me bandage, and it's there are 4 lines, but you can feel the fact that they're talking to each other without saying anything. And that energy comes from some place of, I guess, great comfort.
Your relation off screen translates on screen really effortlessly.
Yeah, and it doesn't really happen every day. Not every co-actor that you work with, you don't necessarily feel that way. Even though it might come across so on screen, you don't actually feel that comfort inside. So it's a great thing.
Apart from the chemistry on screen for the two of you, Arjun, you've really been lauded for this transformation that you've had. Is it specifically for the film, or was this just something personal that you took on?
The starting point was when I got this film in hand, and you very well know when you're doing a film like Ek Villain Returns that it is an aesthetic film, because you got to play to the gallery in terms of 2 men going after each other, 2 very attractive women. So you know what you're getting into. And perhaps I was not in that shape to fit into that world at that point in time. And I wanted to stand up in front of John Abraham and look like I can take him on. It was actually about 15 months of a lot of hard work and consistency. And it gave me a new lease of life. I did fall back in love with myself and I started taking care of myself. So I'm very, very happy that I took this risk. It seems very easy now in retrospect that I should have always done it, but I was not sure if I'll be able to do it. I believed I can, but you're still, there's a belief that is there, but you're like, okay, now I'm time has passed, I'm getting older, how many times can I try and keep losing weight and not do it and fail? And what if I don't pull it off in this film? It'll be the end of my career. You go through a lot of doubts, but I think it worked out.
You know, even though, like you said, the film has a serious tone to it, but I'm 100% sure that you all had a blast while shooting, right? So I definitely want to know from both of you separate anecdotes from the sets. The one thing that you remember instantly when someone says, "What's your favorite memory from the set?"
I think with Tara and me, we used to just burst out laughing at any given point. As soon as they called cut, we used to be in
We just
shock.
spoke so much on this film. Like I'm an introvert, frankly. I am learning to be an extrovert because of him. And I've just never spoken this much in my life. Like you have to keep up with Arjun, who's just fantastic. And I can't wait to do another film with him just because of the rapport that we share. And
It's
just
difficult to
been a
find an
bond,
anecdote in a relationship, an equation like that, because every day is
I
just...
think the beginning of our equation, where I was just rolling my eyes all the time and Arjun was cracking bad jokes, and then I learned the bad jokes, and then I'd crack the bad jokes, and he'd be rolling
And then we
his
start
eyes.
bonding over butter chicken and kali dal.
Yeah.
So the last day of Goa, so we did a night shoot that day, and it was only her bits that we shot. And then I was just hanging around because Mohit said I had to stay. It was the last day. We were all going to chill after that. And her shoot took time to get over, and then eventually I think we had butter chicken and naan to
Dal,
celebrate and
yeah.
kali dal to celebrate the wrap of the schedule
And that was
at
like our
about 3 in the
party.
morning, and that was a party. I think if somebody can make you stay around even after you're done packing up on a set, when you have maybe a million other things to do or pretend to do, and if you just stay in the moment and enjoy a new friendship or a new equation, I think that's something to hold on to for the rest of your life.
Nice. Okay, can you
And
tell
then she
us
just
this?
did this
Can you
all the
tell us
time.
this? What is this? He just put up these pictures saying she loves pulling my cheeks.
And that's all she
Explain.
does. If I by
I think
mistake
that's
show a
actually
sweet
how
side.
we became friends. I think it's because I just like pulled his cheek. He said something irritating and I just pulled his cheek, and ever since
She
then.
thought I was the grumpiest person, and then I think I did something sweet, and she pulled my cheeks, and then
Yeah.
she
If
does
you
that.
just pull his cheeks, just remember this, everybody watching this interview.
But not everybody is
he's-
allowed to do it, na?
I was
But
just going to
they
say
should
that.
be.
And I don't think they should be.
Yes, this big,
There.
this stop it. This-
She has makeup
you
on
love it,
also,
please
no?
relax.
Makeup also.
I don't care, it's fine.
She's also got laddus. Oh, laddu Sutaria. That is another one.
What is that laddu thing?
Laddu Sutaria. That's another name for her cheeks. That you
I used
said.
to be a really fat baby and my cheeks are still rather large.
So
Let's
am
just
I.
leave it at that.
So now deviating a little bit from the film, I'm going to ask you about a little bit of social media. You know, social media is a place where the good, bad, ugly, everything exists, you know. How do you guys deal with comments on families, relationships, trolls? Do you guys even read the comments, or is it now way past that point? You're like, listen, I'm not bothered.
Used to affect me a lot more earlier. But I know who I am. You go through phases where you get concerned by it or put off by it. Now, if I've survived 10 years in this industry, I must be doing something more right than wrong. So you got to go and back yourself a little more. It's very easy for people to have an outlet to take out their frustration by speaking loosely, hiding behind a keyboard. It shows more about their upbringing than it does about who I am. That's pretty
Yeah.
much that.
Yeah. What about you, Tara?
To be honest with you, I don't get trolled very much and I mean, great, that's great. But even
That's
if I
one
was,
similarity we don't have.
yeah, probably not. But that either way, it doesn't really matter. Just the other day, I was just walking out of a store and I was exhausted and I was very unwell and I got very badly trolled for my walk. That I look like a penguin that's waddling or something like that. And I love that. I was like, keep it coming, guys. Like, love it. Because I do think I look like a penguin that waddles and I'm very proud of it. So I'm amused. I love it.
So when you create an environment where everybody is a bit of a troll, even when they don't realize it, it does allow trolling to feel very normalized, and you are desensitized about what you're saying or typing. It seems like a birthright. Opinions, they say opinions are like holes. Everybody has them, but every asshole also has an opinion. That's the problem. And now the problem is every asshole has a keyboard to type his opinion.
So true.
We are receiving also because we've given it so much empowerment in the last couple of years. So now people feel they have the right to do it, and that cycle will only break when we stop allowing ourselves to be attached to what every single person is saying.
Thank you so much, both of you, and good luck for the
Thank you
film.
so much.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.